Okay, some attendees get on. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the City of Gloucester Zoning Board of Appeals remote Zoom meeting of August 10th, 2023. With recent amendments to the open meeting law, the Zoning Board of Appeals will continue to hold meetings remotely. Adequate access is provided through the Zoom link. For the record, this is the Zoom meeting ID 849-2089-9996. All votes by the meeting in the Zoom will be by roll call vote. Anyone in the public wishing to speak, dial *9 if you're on a phone, or hit the raise hand button on your device. For the record, I recognize in attendance myself, Joe Parisi, Michael Nyman, James Gelati, Robert Russell, and I declare we have a quorum. And also with us is our Board Secretary, Allison Battle. Our first order of business is we have received a request for a continuance on the petition of Roger and Rosalind Michelson seeking a special permit for 6 Bungalow Road. I believe Attorney Ellison is on to request a continuance.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. My clients are continuing to work with their architect and their engineer to address some issues with regard to septic system requirements. And they're hoping they have to make some changes to the plans due to that. And so they're still working on those and would like to have a continuance to the next meeting.
So you want to go to 8:31 or do you want to go to 9:14? I mean, 8:31, we're doing the 240Bs that night and whatever else comes in, but
I would say perhaps 9:14, and then we could be certain
sure.
that the plans would be finished.
Great. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to continue 6 Bungalow Road to September 14th.
I can make that motion. Move continuance for Roger A. and Rosalind M. Mickelson seeking a special permit to exceed height 33 feet and variances for a 5-yard side yard setback, increased lot coverage at 31% to 6 Bungalow Road. Move continuance to the first meeting. Is it the 14th, September 14th?
Yep. Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. Roll call vote.
Mr. Nyman,
Yes.
Mr. Gelati,
Yes.
Mr. Russell,
Yes.
Mr. Parisi.
I also vote yes. We'll continue to September 14th. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next application before us is a request for a extension of a variance. Let me get my page up here. And this request already is the petition of, is it 105 or 125 Wingachick LLC seeking an extension of a previously granted variance at 105 Wingachick Road. Attorney Favaza is representing. We'll bring him on.
Thank you. For the record, my name is Joel Favaza. I am here on behalf of the owner of the property, which is 125 Wingachick LLC, and this is about 105 Wingachick Road. As you remember, this was a situation in which we had a double-sized lot. We're looking to split it into 2 lots. The reason we came to you is that technically the entirety of the lot area is comprised of wetland resource area, being that the entirety of Wingachick is delineated as dune, basically. And so in the City of Gloucester zoning ordinance, you can't have more than 25% of your required lot area be resource area. So even though we had 20,000 square feet of physical land area, only 5,000 counted. And so we were technically 15,000 square feet deficient on both. The plan was to split the lot, build 2 single-family houses. They were in process of being approved through Conservation Commission. We were actually getting pretty close. And then, as you may know, back beginning of the year, the city council revised the zoning ordinance to add new floodplain prohibitions. And both of the houses that we've been working to permit suddenly needed to be relocated elsewhere on the new lots, which meant we had to kind of start back from square one with the Conservation Commission and get the new designs permitted. In that time, this variance was set to run out. And so we are here asking to please just extend it. Again, this is still to allow the existing double lot to be split into two conforming lots physically, even though they're technically not conforming, and to allow a single family house only be erected on each lot once we get through Concom. We are going to the planning board in a couple of weeks, and actually next week, to actually do the A&R split. But the variance is not fully exercised until we pull a building permit. We can't do that until Concom is done. That's it for me.
So nothing would change on our end, even if you move the houses, because what we relieved you of doesn't change, correct?
Right, you give us relief for letting lot area be made of dune, and that's what we're still trying to do, and just building a single family house that has not changed.
What if you had to, if they make you move it to somewhere, you would then require a variance, would you have to?
We were no longer complying with setbacks. We do not have adequate relief for that. We have to come in as under a new petition and receive setback relief from this board.
Alrighty, excellent. So we, this is a routine request for a continuance, and we have a motion to extend the variance to, can you give us the date again? It was February,
I think 6 months. It's a 6-month extension would be the motion.
anybody?
So I would move that we extend the variance 6 months as requested for the reasons stated while they're waiting for approval from Conservation Commission for 105 Wingersheik Road.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, roll call vote.
Mr. Gelati,
Yes.
Mr. Russell,
yes,
Mr. Nyman,
Yes,
Mr. Parisi.
Yes. You've heard the decision's favorable. Not sure how we write that up, but we'll get that sorted out for the extension.
Right, thank you very much.
Yep. Okay. We have 2 hearings tonight. The first is the petition of Eric Liacono seeking a permit under section 2.3.4, subsection 11, motor vehicle services special permit to operate an auto detailing shop at 61 Grove Street. I believe it's Andrew Wagner that's going
Yes,
to bring in, okay. I don't see him.
he's under panelists.
Oh, yes. Okay.
members of the zoning board, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm trying to start the video here.
Can
So
you
you
give your
could-
name and address for the record, please?
61 Grove Street, Unit
No,
3,
your name and address where you live.
Andrew Wagner, 45B Maplewood Avenue, sir.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
All right, basically what we have here, first off, good evening. I am seeking a detailing shop on Eric Liacono's property. I believe, what we have is a small detailing business. It's going to be coming in. The waste will be drained into the correct oil separated drains like I was told they are. And I believe he's been in contact with you all. And basically I come before you tonight just to ask that you approve this special permit. And basically, go run forth with the business here.
What hours do you operate?
8 to 4, Monday through Saturday.
Great. Any other questions of the board at this time?
I
I mean, us, questions for you.
Oh, excuse me.
That's all right.
Michael, you're muted.
Sorry about that. I just said, what's our standard here?
So it's a special permit, so it's no, not any more substantially detrimental to the neighborhood than.
Oh, so just a simple special permit. Okay,
So, yeah, for clarity to his presentation, so this building is in the industrial zone. And all the buildings that are there, the shops, the cleaning company next to him, the whatever else is occupying those other couple of bays are all allowed in that IG district, industrial, general industrial. When you introduce the word automotive, motor vehicle, whatever, which is what he does because, you know, he's just not running a shop there. People come there with cars. That's why it kicks in under section 11 that you need a special permit from the zoning board for that use.
Yep.
And we're entitled to ask and limit why I asked hours of operation or things like that. We can set parameters, but it's basically a straightforward special permit. And that's what we're entertaining tonight.
gotcha. Okay.
Thank you.
If there's no other questions, I'll ask for public. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of the application? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? You can raise your hand. If you're on a phone, you dial *9, or you can raise your device. Seeing none, is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Anyone in opposition? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Discussion by the board? Or a motion?
I can make a motion. Petition of Eric Diacono seeking section 2.3.4 parentheses 11 motor vehicle service special permit to operate an auto detailing shop at 61 Grove Street. So if the standard is it substantially more detrimental? I'm sorry, so I would move approval of the special permit because it does not appear to me that it's substantially more detrimental than the existing shops that are surrounding it.
I mean, Mike, if I could correct myself. So they do list, in making the they list the factors we should consider.
Yeah, so that's what I was wondering. Yeah, that's, so the 6 factors, right?
Yeah, social, economic, community needs, traffic.
I'll go through-
safety.
I'll go through it real quick.
Okay.
Yep. So I think it does have community needs. Otherwise they wouldn't thrive. People want their cars washed and cleaned and detailed and so on. Traffic flow and safety, it's already a general industrial area. So I think it will increase cars moving back and forth on that street. I think it's already an industrial area down there. I don't see that as being detrimental. I would assume it's adequate utilities already there. It already meets the neighborhood character. It's in an industrial zone already. I don't think it's going to affect the quality of natural environment. All the product that he's using is green. It's set up to drain properly, to be separated out. And the fiscal impact, I'm sure, is just taxes. I don't think it's substantial, but that property's being taxed. So I move approval of the special permit.
I'd second that.
We have a motion made and seconded to grant a special permit to 61 Grove Street. For an auto detailing shop.
Thank you,
And
members of the board.
What is your, one thing just for when I write up the decision, are you C?
MIC?
Yeah, so it's 61 Grove Street, but they were lettered or numbered. What's your base?
So this is building B, unit C.
Okay, I just want to write it in the decision
Yes, sir.
so that it's correct. Nobody has any trouble later on.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Roll
I
call
appreciate-
vote. What, we're not, roll call
Oh.
vote.
Excuse me.
Mr. Russell,
yes,
Mr. Gelati,
Yes.
Mr. Nyman,
Yes.
Mr. Parisi.
Yes, you've heard our decision's favorable. I'll put together a decision that you'll receive and you'll be able to file it. And.
Thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Yep, good luck.
Yeah,
Thank
best
you.
of luck, Andy.
Thanks, James.
Okay, our final hearing of the evening is the petition of Kimberly Boris seeking a variance under 3.2.1 accessory structure for side and rear setbacks to allow a shed at 21 Exchange Street. The representative, I didn't catch his name.
He's brought in, it's Aiden Church.
Okay,
Hello,
Aiden.
thank you. For the record, my name is Aiden Church. I work for Seaside Legal Solutions at 123 Main Street here in Gloucester. I'll share my screen here.
Aiden, excuse me, are you an attorney or just paralegal?
I'm a law clerk.
Okay, great. I just didn't, I want to address you right.
Thanks. So I'm here tonight on behalf of Kimberly Boris, owner of 21 Exchange Street. By way of background, we're in the R5 high density residential district. The lot is non-conforming. It's undersized and lacks adequate frontage and lot width. There's a non-conforming principal structure on the lot and encroaches into the right yard setback area. The house was built in 1939 and acquired by the petitioner in 2021. In terms of the proposed work, Ms. Boris is petitioning to install a shed in the rear right-hand corner of the backyard, 2 feet from the rear and right property lines. This is a picture of the actual model of the shed that the petitioner wishes to install with siding, roofing, and trim that will match the principal structure. Here's a site plan which shows the proposed location of the shed, aerial view of the neighborhood, the Gloucester map geo base map here, and a couple pictures of the house. Here's the front of the house from the left side from the sidewalk. Here's a picture of the backyard facing the house and the general area where the shed will be located. Here's a view from the back porch of the entire backyard. The relief requested tonight is for a variance from section 3.2.1 relating to the 5-foot rear and right setback requirements for an accessory structure in the R5 district. The shed is proposed to be placed 2 feet from the rear and right side property lines. Arguably, because the house encroaches on the right side, that could be eligible for a special permit on that side only, but we requested a variance just to be safe. So the proposed shed will only be 8 foot by 8 foot in length and width. It'll be under the maximum 12-foot height requirement. It'll sit on a bed of crushed stone rather than permanent concrete footings. It'll conform to all other accessory structure requirements, including height, distance from the street, distance from the principal building, and the left and front setback areas. The 2 feet between the shed and the fences will be for landscaping and to prevent any overgrowth in that area. As you know, the standard for a variance is that the board must find that a literal enforcement of the ordinance will create a hardship for the property owner. The hardship must relate to the soil shape or topography of the structure or land in question, and any relief must not harm the public good or nullify the intent of the GZO. Here, a literal enforcement would require that a small 8x8 shed would be placed 5 feet off each property line, thereby taking up 169 square feet of the applicant's backyard. It would place the shed towards the center of the yard, taking up more space than the petitioner is willing to give up out of her backyard. She has no other garage or any other space to store her yard furniture and yard equipment, but a conforming shed, as I said, would take up too much of her yard, so that is her hardship. I have some further pictures on the next slides to illustrate this point a little further. But first, the hardship is related to the long, narrow nature of the lot and the placement of the house on the lot. The lot is 5 feet under the required width in the district, which makes a non-conforming shed feel closer to the middle of the yard than it would otherwise if the lot were conforming. The house is set back 20 feet from the street, where the R5 only requires 15-foot front yard. And the house has a driveway to its left. So the sum of these factors is that you have a house and a driveway taking up the entire front half of the lot, leaving a small backyard area. Granting the relief will cause no harm to the neighborhood or anyone else. The neighbors to the left and right both have non-conforming sheds butted right up to the property lines. The neighbor to the rear is shielded by tree and brush cover. And if any neighbor can even see the shed, it'll be of high quality construction and will match the principal structure. It won't be an eyesore in any way. So here you have the proposed shed location. On the next slide, you have the conforming location, which does not look to be that much different, but as you can see here, this would actually come right out onto the raised planter in the middle of the yard. So here's the raised planter from the back, which you can see just how far into the yard the shed would sit if it were to conform. And here again, just in the backyard, the shed would come all the way out to here, which is right in the middle of the yard. And then you can see from this picture as well, if the neighbor on the right, which has a similarly sized shed tucked right up to the property line here, the neighbor to the left has a much larger shed also tucked right up to the property lines. And the neighbor to the rear is shielded by all of this tree cover. So in conclusion, we're requesting a variance from section 3.2.1 for 3 feet of relief from the required 5-foot rear and right yard setbacks for an accessory structure, allowing the petitioner to install a shed 2 feet from the rear and right side property lines. I'm happy to take any questions, but otherwise, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions at this time by the
I'm
board?
good.
Boy, it's impressive what a beautiful backyard you can create in the R5. You know?
Yeah, I agree. That's a nice backyard.
Very nice. Okay, we'll take some public testimony. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of the application? Anyone wishing to speak in favor, please raise your hand. Seeing none, is there anyone that wishes to speak in opposition to the application? Seeing none, we'll close the public testimony. No need for rebuttal. Discussion by the board or a motion?
I think our ordinance is interesting. I'll make a motion in a minute. I always have to get this off my chest a tiny bit. That you could put a pool 5 feet from that rear and right yard setback, and you could put a 3-foot deck all the way around it without permission. So you could put an extremely intense use 2 feet from your fence, but you need permission to come to us to put a shed that's probably 8 feet tall, 8 by 8 by 8 feet tall. So anyway, I would support. I'll make a motion unless somebody else has anything else they want to
I
say.
just want to say, I'm a big believer a shed belongs in the corner of the backyard.
Yep.
You know, it's crazy. Everybody around it's doing the same thing. Why waste the lawn, you know?
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always supported those. But go ahead, you can make a motion on the variance.
Petition of Kimberly Boris seeking a variance, 3.2.1 accessory structure for side and rear yard setbacks to allow a shed at 21 Exchange Street for the reasons presented by Law Clerk Aiden Church. I would move approval of this variance.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve the variance. Roll call vote.
Gelati,
Yes.
Mr. Russell,
yes,
Mr. Nyman,
Yes,
Mr. Parisi,
I also vote yes. Aiden, you've heard our decision was favorable. If we'd appreciate a draft decision that we could finalize.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
yep, good luck.
Okay, does any other members have any other questions or discussion points? Are we all good to go? Nice 7:30 meeting.
I can smell my supper. It sounds good.
All right, if that's the case, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Made and seconded, roll call to adjourn.
Mr. Nyman,
Yes.
Mr. Russell,
yes.
Mr. Gelati,
Yes.
Mr. Parisi.
Yes, we are adjourned.
Have a good night, gentlemen. Good weekend.
Yeah.
You guys.
And ladies, sorry about that, Allison.
Thank you. That's okay.
Okay,
Have a
take
good weekend.
One of the guys.
Always. Take
See ya.
care.
The,